Hello students, in this video we are going to revise the class 8th math cube and cube roots chapter important questions, and we'll be solving 10 important questions of all the types which are going to come in their half yearly exams. So here are the 10 important questions on cube and cube roots for class 8 NCERT half yearly exam. The first question is, find the cube of A 13 and B is 0.6. So we all know that we can find the cube of any number by multiplying the number 3 times. Cube means multiplying the same number 3 times. So 13 times 13 times 13 will be the cube of 13, which equals 2197. And the next part, B part, is, this is the A part, and B part is 0.6. We need to find the cube of 0.6. So we multiply the same number 3 times, and we know that 6 times 6 is 36 and 36 times 6 is 216. So that's 216, and we need to put the decimal point after 3 decimal places because we have 0.6 here, 0.6 here and 0.6 here. When we multiply the numbers, we need to add their decimal places too. So our answer will be 0.216. There should be 3 digits after the decimal point. So that's 0.216. So this is the answer for first A part and B part. Now we will move to the next question, which is, write the cube root of each of the following numbers. So here the first number is 729. Finding the cube root of any number, we will be using the prime factorization method. So let's find the cube root of 729 and 1728 here. This is question 2, A part, where we are finding the cube root of 729. So for finding the cube root, we are going to use the prime factorization method and will divide the number using prime numbers until the number is fully divided. So first we'll divide 729. We'll write it like so, and we'll start dividing. 729 is an odd number and it is divisible by first odd prime number 3. So 3 times 2 is 6, 1 is remainder, this becomes 12, 3 times 4 is 12 and 3 times 3 is 9. Again we can divide it by 3, 3 times 8 is 24 and 3 times 1 is 3. Again we can divide by 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 2 is remainder, this becomes 21 and 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 9 is 27, 3 times 3 is 9 and 3 times 1 is 3. So our number is fully divided. For finding the cube root, we are going to write the number as the product of its prime factors like so. That is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And by taking cube root on both sides, we can find the cube root. So cube root of 729 will be equal to cube root of 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So cube root of 729 will be, as we are finding the cube roots, we have to find the triplets here. So here 3 times 3 times 3 will be one triplet. That means 3 numbers are there together, and 3 times 3 times 3 will be the other one. 3 cube times 3 cube, cube root. And as this is cube root and these are cube numbers, cube and cube root will get cancelled out. So we'll write it in exponent form, which is 3 cube whole raised to power 1 by 3 times 3 cube whole raised to power 1 by 3. And this we can write as 3 raised to power 3 upon 3 times 3 raised to power 3 upon 3. This 3 and 3 will get cancelled and we are left with 3 times 3. This is how we find the cube root, by taking cube root on both sides and finding the prime factorization of the number. So cube root of 729 comes out to be 3 times 3 times 3, which is 9. So this is our final answer for question 2 part A. To B part is to find the cube root of 1728. This will be the same as 729. So this you can do, you can find it out yourself. In this way you will have some practice too, and let me know the answer for this one. Let's move on to the next question, which is question 3. Question 3 is find the smallest number by which 1323 should be multiplied so that the product becomes a perfect cube. This type of question is definitely going to come. Either we have to find the smallest number which you need to multiply, or number which you need to divide. So let's solve this question. Our number is 1323. For finding the smallest number which you need to multiply, first of all we need to find the prime factors of this number. Every time if you have this type of question, you need to find the prime factors of that number, and we'll check the product of triplets. If a number is lacking in the triplet, that means there are only 2 numbers which are multiplied, and for perfect cube root you need 3 numbers to be multiplied. That will be the smallest number you need to multiply to get to the answer. And if there are 4 numbers, if there is one number which is more in the triplet, that means there are 4 numbers which are multiplied instead of 3. You need to divide by that number to get the perfect cube. So now let us find the prime factors of 1323. Is 1323. So this is an odd number, and we can see that it is divisible by number 3. So let's divide it by 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 is remainder. This becomes 12. 3 times 4 is 12 and 3 times 1 is 3. Again we can divide it by 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 is remainder. This becomes 14. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 is remainder. This becomes 21. And 3 times 7 is 21. Again we can use 3 to divide the numbers. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 is remainder. This becomes 27. 3 times 9 is 27. And 49 is not divisible by number 3. It is even not divisible by number 5. So we'll use number 7 to divide 49. 7 times 7 is 49 and 7 times 1 is 7. Now the number is fully divided. Let's write the number in terms of the products of its prime factors. So that's going to be 3 times 3 times 3 times 7 times 7. Now here we'll check the triplets of this prime numbers. So here we see that there is a triplet of 3, number 3. 3 times 3 times 3 is a triplet of number 3. And here we have 7 times 7, and we are lacking 7 here. So the smallest number will be the number which we lack here. So the smallest number which should be multiplied to make 1323 a perfect cube is 7. So this is how we can find what number you should multiply the number with to make it a perfect cube. So this is our final answer for question number 3. So question number 4 is find the cube root of 8000 by using prime factorization method. We have already done the prime factorization method in question number 2. The same method here, as we have find out the cube root of 729. The same thing you have to do to find the cube root of 8000. And you can find the cube root of 8000 by using the prime factorization method. The answer would be 20, because 20 times 20 times 20 is 8000. So you can find it by using the prime factorization method. Let's move on to the next question, which is question number 5. Question number 5 is 10648 or 10648 is a perfect cube or not? You need to justify your answer. First we'll find out whether this number is a perfect cube or not. For finding that, We'll first see the units digit in the number. The units digit is 8. We can get 8 by multiplying 2 3 times. So the unit digit of the cube of this number will be 2. So let's write all the numbers which have 2 in their units digit. 2, 12, 22, 32. So 2 cannot be the cube of this number because 2 cube is 8. So this is not there. Let's find the cube of 12. Cube of 12 will be 12 times 12 times 12, which equals is 144 times 12. Let's find out. 12 times 4 is 48. 8, 4 will be carried over. 12 times 4 is 48. 48 plus 4 is 52. So that's 2 and 5 will be carried over. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. So that's 1728. So 12 cannot be the cube root of this number. Let's find the cube of 22. So 22 times 22 times 22 times 22 is 484 times 22. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 1 carried over. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. Again multiplying by 2. So that will be 8, 6 and 9. Add the two numbers. 8, 6 and 8 is 14. 14, 4. 1 carried over. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 6 is 16. 1 carried over. And 9 plus 1 is 10. So we got the exact number as 10,648. So 22 is a cube root of this. That means 10,648 is a perfect cube. So this all solution we are going to show to justify our answer. This is how we prove that 10,648 is a perfect cube. So this is the final solution to our question number 5. Let's move on to our next question, which is question number 6. Evaluate, and this is the cube root. To find the cube root of 64 times 27 times 125. To find the cube root, instead of multiplying the all the numbers and finding the cube root of a big number, we can write it as cube root of 64 times cube root of 27 times cube root of 125. So cube root of 64 we can write as the product of factors 4. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64 times, here 27 we can write as cube of 3. 3 times 3 times 3, and factors of 25 will be 5 times 5 times 5. So we can write it as cube root of 4 cube times cube root of 3 cube times cube root of 5 cube. And as all these numbers are cube and they are under the cube root sign, all the numbers will come out of the cube root sign. Or we can, to show that, we can write it in exponent form as 4 cube raised to power 1 by 3 cube. That this is how we write cube root in exponent, times 3 cube whole raised to power 1 by 3 times 5 cube whole raised to power 1 by 3, or 4 raised to power 3 upon 3 times 3 raised to power 3 upon 3 times 5 raised to power 3 upon 3. All these will get cancelled and we'll left with 4 times 3 times 5, and 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 5 is 60. So our answer will be 60. So this is how we evaluate a big expression by breaking it into smaller cubes. So this is our final answer for question number 6. Now let's move on to our question 7, which is Find the cube root of 17,576 using estimation method. So we need to find the cube root of this number using estimation method. Estimation method we'll do the same as we did in question number 5, where we find out whether this number is perfect cube or not. The same method we are going to use. First we'll see the units digit of this number, which is 6. So 17576 6. Now we'll check how we can find 6 by multiplying what numbers 3 times we are going to get 6. So if the units digit of this number is 6, so if we multiply 6 3 times, we are going to get 6 in the units digit. Let's write all the numbers in which we are going to get 6 at the units digit. Cube number. First number is 6 cube. Second is 16. And third one is 26 cube. So 6 cube is 216. So this is not going to work. Let's find 16 cube. So 16 times 16 times 16. 16 times 16 is 256 times 16. Let's multiply and find out. 256 times 16 is 4,096. So 16 cannot be the cube root of this number. Now let's multiply 26 3 times and find out. 26 times 26 will be 6 times 6 is 36. 3 is carried over. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. 2 times 6 is 12, 1 carried over, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 5. So that's 6, 7 and 6. 676 is the square of 26. Let's multiply it by 26 again. 6 times 6 is 36, 3 is carried over, 6 times 7 is 42, 42 plus 3 is 45, 4 is carried over, 6 times 6 is 36, 36 plus 4 is 40. Now multiplying by 2, 2 times 6 is 12, 1 carried over, 2 times 7 is 14, 14 plus 1 is 15, 1 carried over, 2 times 6 is 12, 12 plus 1 is 13. Add the two numbers, 6, 7, 5, 7, 1. So we got our number. That means 26 is the cube root of 17,576. This is how we use the estimation method. So we'll write cube root of 17,576 is 26. This is our final answer. We are going to box the answer and we'll go to the next question, which is question number 8. Question 8 is the volume of a cube is 13,824 cubic centimeter. Find the length of its edge. So here we are going to use the formula for finding the volume. Volume of a cube is a cube, where a is the edge. So volume is given as 13,824 equals a cube. To find a, we need to find the cube root of 13,824. For finding the cube root of 13,824, we are going to use the prime factorization method. Let's find the cube root of 13,824 using prime factorization. As it is an even number, let's divide it by 2. 2 times 6 is 12. 1 is remainder. This becomes 18. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 1 is remainder. This becomes 11. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 is remainder. This becomes 12. 2 times 6 is 12. Again, we'll divide by 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 is remainder. This becomes 14. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 2 is 4, 1 is remainder, this is 18, this becomes 16, 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 8 is 16, 1 is remainder, this becomes 12, 2 times 6 is 12, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2, 1 is remainder, this becomes 12, 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 1 is 2, 1 is not divisible by 2, so we'll put a 0, and 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 5 is 10, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 7 is 40. 27 is an odd number. It is not divisible by 2. So we'll use 3 to divide 27. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 3 is 9. And 3 times 1 is 3. Now the number is fully divided. Let us write the number as the product of its prime factors. So as we are finding the cube root, taking cube root on both the sides. So cube root of 13,824 is this. Now for finding the cube root, we first find the triplets of the numbers. Let's underline all the triplets. So here 2 is one of the triplets, here 2, 2, and this one is 3. So this will be 2 cube times 2 cube times 2 cube times 3 cube whole cube root. So 2 cube whole raised to power 1 by 3 times 2 cube whole raised to power 1 by 3 times 2 cube whole raised to power 1 by 3 times 3 cube whole raised to power 1 by 3. This we can write as 2 raised to power 3 upon 3 times 2 raised to power 3 upon 3 times 2 raised to power 3 upon 3 times 3 raised to power 3 upon 3. This is cube root of 13,824. Now all the cubes and cube root will get cancelled here. 3 upon 3, 3 upon 3, 3 upon 3 and 3 upon 3. Now we'll get the number itself. So that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 is cube root of 13,824, or cube root of 13,824 is 2 times 2 is 4 times 3 is 24. So equals A. So A is the length of its edge. This equals A, so A will be 24 centimeters. So our final answer will be the length of edge is 24 centimeters. This is our final answer. We are going to box the answer. And this completes our question number 8. Let's move on to our next question, question 9. So our next question is, a metal cube of side 6 cm is melted and recast into smaller cubes each of side 2 cm. How many such cubes can be made? So here we have two metal cubes. One is with side 6 cm and another one is side 2 cm. So first we'll find the volume of cube 1. Let's name it as cube 1, which is 6 cube equals 6 times 6 times 6, which equals 216 cubic centimeter. This we can name as volume 1, volume of big cube. And now this is recast and melted into smaller cube. Let's find the volume of that small cube. Volume of cube 2 is, each side is 2 centimeters. So that will be 2 cube. So volume 2 will be 2 times 2 times 2, or which equals 8 cubic centimeter. Now volume of cube 1 is recast and melted into volume of cube 2. Now we need to find the number of such cubes. To find the number of such cubes, we need to divide volume of cube 1 by volume of cube 2 to find the number of cubes. Volume of cube 1 is V1 divided by V2 is equal to 216 divided by 8 cubic centimeter. So let's divide. 8 times 2 is 16. We have 5 here and this is 0. Then we'll drop down 6. And 8 times 7 is 56. So our answer is 27. So number of cubes is 27. So our final answer will be cubes of 2 centimeter each is 27. This is our final answer. We are going to box the answer and this completes our question number 9. Let's move on to our last question, which is question 10. By what smallest number should 1188 be divided so that the quotient is a perfect cube? So for finding the smallest number which should be divided, we need to first find the prime factors of 1188. So let's find the prime factors of 1188. As it is an even number, we can easily divide it by 2. 2 times 5 is 10, 1 is remainder. This becomes 18. 2 times 9 is 18 and 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4, 1 is remainder. This becomes 19. 2 times 9 is 18, 1 is remainder. This becomes 14. 2 times 7 is 14. Now 297 is divisible by 3. 3 times 9 is 27. 2 is remainder. This becomes 27. 3 times 9 is 27. Again we can divide by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. And 11 times 1 is 11. So we got the factors of 1188 as 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 11. Now for 1188 to be a perfect cube, all the factors should be in triplets, perfect triplets. So let's underline the triplets first. Here we see that there is only one triplet, which is number 3, and 11 and 2 and 2 are not the triplets. So we can write it as 3 times 3 times 3, 11 times 2 times 2, or we can write it as 3 times 3 times 3 is 27 times 11 times 2 times 2 is 44. This is our triplet and these numbers are not in triplet. To make it a perfect cube, we are going to divide this whole thing by 44. We need to divide 1188 by 44 to make it a perfect cube. So answer will be, to make it a perfect cube, we need to divide it by 44. Because only 3 is in the triplet, so we'll just leave 3 and we'll divide by the multiple of all the numbers which are not in triplets. So this is going to be our final answer. These are all the important questions from the chapter of cubes and cube roots. I hope this video is helpful to you. If you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more math videos. Thanks for watching.